Hey, hey. Alright, so, made it through that, and I just discovered something, and I'll see if I can describe it. So, as I mentioned in the previous video, we are in multiple worlds at once. So, what I just did was I brought up all the worlds that I know that I'm in, and I brought the lower one, which is in darkness, and then I experienced myself in that world while I'm sitting here as I look, and I just brought it upward in frequency into the light, and I feel so much more open and gentle and loving than I have in quite some time. Now, if I can describe to people how to do this, I wonder. So there's that. And I wanted to add a little more information now that I may not have to jump into the waterfall quite so much as before, and maintain the balance point because a lot of the fear was coming from that lower sphere being in darkness. You see, these worlds are overlapped, so every world that we are in affects every other world that we are in. And so the things in the physical world are affecting the other worlds, and those other worlds are affecting our experience of the physical world and our manifestations therein. And so, yeah. And I look at myself here on the video, I was like, oh, he's so much more gentle, he's so much more loving, it's like a different me. And I love it. I am a lot of people now. That's a thing. Yeah, and a few other things. So, like, I wonder. Oh, I've been shown some Arcturian light technology that I would like to share. One of them is sending out waves into the world. So you breathe in light through the top of your head, and you'll notice that there's different bits and pieces, and don't worry what the pieces are because it's all love, and you can only ever send love, so don't worry that you're going to send something that's unwanted. It's never that way. And you send it through into your heart, and there's a particular way of breathing, and you'll notice it's different because you breathe one way and it goes down into the lower chakras. You breathe a different way and it goes out through your mouth and or your nose, and you breathe a different way and it goes out through what? I gotta do a thing. But when you breathe just right, then it sends out a wave out from your chest, and you can watch it expand. As you're above the mountaintops, you can close your eyes and you can see that you're flying above the mountaintops, and I think you're actually standing on the pyramid, but maybe it's both. And you send out the wave, and you'll notice it's different colors, different textures. Kind of looks like a record. It's got little dips and divvies in it, but sometimes it's smooth. And it has to do with what you're thinking and feeling. It has to do with what the light has programmed through it, because it's encoded with information. It's a combination of, how the love is the information. So as you're sending out love, and a part of me wants to put that world in darkness again, so I bring up those worlds, and I bring up that world, and I lift it into the light. And that feels so much better. I kind of sort of did this earlier, but then I didn't notice that I did. Ooh, anxiety of some sort as we drop it. All anxiety is a form of fear, we drop it. Yeah, and I totally forgot what I was talking about, and that's fine. Oh yes, the wave. And so the wave heads out, and then there's a way of it's sort of like hitting a drum, where it's like you're hitting the end of the wave, and when you do, it sends a little separation, and then you let go, and the letting go is both forgetting that you sent the wave, and it's opening your eyes and then being in this world again, and you let go, and it's like you're pulling cords out, and those cords are your connections to the wave, and then as you let go of those connections, then the wave goes around the world, and it goes to everybody, and it's great. In a sense, it's like stepping down the energies from these high frequency energies that then are more accessible to people who haven't acclimated for a year or 350 years, or however you like to think of it. And what I mean by that is that we changed our time sense so that every moment was for a while at about 50 to 100 times speed, which was a little much. And there wasn't much but laying still and closed eyes at that point. And now I keep myself at about 3 to 5 times speed to make sure that I keep ahead of the lower frequencies. And then also that's part of staying at a higher frequency, is that then time moves at a different rate. And so a lot of experiences during that time, a lot of things to say, a lot of things to report. And in many ways I've already said it, because I've been sending out these waves for some time now, for probably the last couple of weeks, which means for the last couple of months. And yeah, some of you know what that means. And yeah, it's an excellent thing to do. And then you let go at the end, and then it goes around the world. It's really great. And another thing about hands and how many hands we have, and discovering how many hands you have, you can sort of feel it. Like there's different points on your back and your shoulders, where as you move those muscle groups, you'll notice that the arm moves. And it's sort of like being a baby again and learning how to move the arm. Oftentimes grabbing things just at random. And so it's learning how to not do that. And so often when it feels like someone's taking something from you, you're actually reaching out with one of your hands and taking something from them. And that's the thing. So then when you give it back, and the way to do that is you simply imagine that hand opening and you say, I give it back, and your intention then does it. Because your hands follow your intentions directly. Whatever your intentions are, your hands are mirroring it, and they're helping to facilitate. And sometimes, you ever get that like creepy feeling on the back of your neck? I used to think it was some kind of monster, but I knew that wasn't it because there are no monsters, right? But it's people. It's people reaching out with their hands and they're tickling the back of your neck saying, do you feel that? And they don't know that they're doing it oftentimes. Their hands are doing different things. And some people do that a lot, and then they start to feel creepy. That's a bunch of people saying, hey, how do you like how that feels? Because that's what it feels like to me. And because our higher selves are expressing through our various other selves into the self you see right here. And it's happening all the time, whether you know it or not. And everyone's doing it. There's a way of listening in truth to where you can hear someone like talking on the phone or talking to their dog or talking to someone else, and they're actually responding to your thinking as their higher aspect. And yeah, it's really cool. And have you seen the portal right in front of you? That's where a portal angel is, and she's been a guide throughout the entire time. And she waves, and she's so pretty, and she's beautiful, and she's so great, she's so helpful. And again, she never speaks, just gestures, and I always understand. It's very easy. And that's also where I see people. So as you tune in with your heart and your mind to a person, you'll see them in that portal. And then you can interact, and you can send them blessings, and you can send them things. And you're doing it whether you know it or not. If you're thinking about someone and you're feeling about someone, they're picking up on what you're thinking and feeling about them, always, ever, and without exception. And you've noticed this too, right? That if you're talking shit about someone and then they show up and they're like, hey man, what were you saying? Because they sense it, and they're like, because it's their higher self that you're communicating with, but it all trickles through. It's like that inverted pyramid, you see? Because we're in the other pyramid, and that's the physical existence and the various bands of frequency they're in. As you rise up to the peak, then you're at the meeting point between your higher aspects and who you are in physical form, and that's that balance point that I was referring to. And it's very important to be on that balance point because that's where you are in creation. It's where all creation takes place. But yeah, the hands. There's a lot you can do with it. And you can send energy through your hands, of course, just like your other hands. And it's again by intention. And these are like eggs. Another Arcturian light technology is the energy balls, these frequency things. How to describe it exactly? But it's by your intention. And again, when you send it, you don't send it in a straight line because then it'll just bounce back, or it'll go somewhere in the world and it'll go into that tree or it'll go into the ground. And nothing ever gets wasted, no energy is ever destroyed. But then you'll feel kind of depleted. You'll be like, ooh, I don't like that. But if you send it with your intention over your shoulder, because you just say, that's where I'm sending it, and that's where you're sending it, because that's how it works. And your imagination is real, by the way, and everything you imagine is actually being created. And isn't that cool? That's really cool. But again, if you're imagining something in fear, it's a lie. Doesn't mean you're not creating it. But fear creations are no fun, and we don't like it. But yeah, you send the light from those hands over your shoulder, and if you're tuned in with someone, then they receive it on their end. And there's a lot you can do with that. I just discovered that a couple days ago. Because every day we learn something new. Every day we keep going. Every day we keep ourselves at a higher than comfortable frequency. And then we change and change and change again. And it is my intention to be a healer, and so I am, and then there I am. And very soon I'll have a website. It'll all be by donation, and it'll be really cool. It'll be a very simple site. It'll just have, a little text there and a place where people can donate and a place where you can send in your phone number and I can give you a call. And within, a couple of few minutes, there'll be a drastic change to the extent of your choosing and in the most perfect ways. And it may or may not happen right away, but it will happen eventually. And whether you attribute that to me or not, that's fine. Whether you donate or not, that's fine. because I'm doing it anyway, so I may as well give the option of some income. It's one of the areas that I have yet to balance out. I was homeless there for a little while, which wasn't exactly the most fun, but wasn't as bad as people make it out to be if you do it a particular way, and which I did. And that is now passed. As you can see, I'm in an apartment. This is an apartment they gave me, which is really great, Section 8. And so far, so good. But it would be nice to have an income, and I figure, I'm doing these things anyway. People are benefiting, and they're saying, oh, wow, I feel so much better, and it's really great. And I think, it's okay for me to say, hey, yeah, I helped with that. I mean, isn't it? Is that okay? I mean, I can do it all the time, and people don't know, and that's cool, too, and I will, because I'm not going to stop, because we don't stop. No, we don't stop. And then it's like, yeah, we may as well have the option to donate. So I will add that to the description once I have the website, to this video and every other video, and then we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, exciting times. Much more to say, much more to report, and maybe I'll make another one and upload all three. Let's see who I am that time, shall we? Yes.